What's up, Leafs Nation? Welcome back to another game preview. I'm Zack Phillips, and today we're going to be taking a look at game number 48 of the Toronto Maple Leafs regular season as they go head-to-head with the Tampa Bay Lightning here tonight. We're going to get a couple lineup changes, whether it be for the Leafs or the Lightning. We'll dig into each of those. We'll give out our best bets, and we'll give a little bit of a preview of what we expect for tonight's game. But before we get into anything, you guys know it's a presentation of Bet365, proud partner of the Leafs Nation pregame and the Leafs Nation After Dark. Open an account with Bet365 today and bet on a huge range of markets. Use code NATION, N-A-T-I-O-N, all caps, NATION, N-A-T-I-O-N. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. All right, let's start with this. This is news that I did not think we were going to get here today. I was not expecting from the Tampa Bay Lightning, and that will be Jonas Johansson. Jonas Johansson is starting for the Tampa Bay Lightning, which is kind of interesting. Obviously, the backup goaltender there for Tampa, but it's not what I was thinking was going to be coming this morning. I was going to have a different best bet lined up, and then with that news, everything kind of all shifted and changed. So we're maneuvering around here, and we've got something else planned for you guys, but that is the big news. Honestly, one of the things that I kind of looked at that I thought was funny with it is that feels like the Leafs have kind of had Vasilevsky's number. I think they've chased him a couple of times in the last matchups that they've had with him. The last time they played on the Amazon Prime game, they also found a way to chase Andrei Vasilevsky. So maybe Tampa looking at this one saying, forget it, we're not going to start that way. We'll put the other guy in tonight. I don't know what it is, but yeah, that's one of the big news stories from this morning. The other one would be more so pertaining to the Maple Leafs here, and that would be that Max Pacioretty's day-to-day, and with that news comes a swap. Seeing Fraser Minten get himself into this lineup, he will be centering the third line for the Maple Leafs here tonight. So let's run down what we've got for lines for tonight's game against the Lightning, and we'll start with the top. We'll go to the first line, Nyes, Matthews, and Marner. I mean, honestly, not too much to add here when it comes to these three guys. I think that we've seen Matthews get rocking here lately. Mitch is obviously contributing and benefiting from that. Matthew Nyes' game is kind of coming back into his own. When we saw that burst that he had where he scored 5 goals, 3 games, he kind of was leading the charge for this Maple Leafs team while they were all down. Now it kind of tailed off, and we'll see if we can get him heading back in the right direction here. Obviously, his play has kind of been pretty good. It's been in the right spot, but the production has not necessarily been there from a goals and assist perspective. Maybe that's something that gets going here tonight against the Tampa Bay Lightning. Nyes, Matthews, and Marner. You're going to go to your second line. Bobby McMann, Pontus Holmberg, and William Nylander will be tonight's second line. Obviously, here, when you see Pontus Holmberg slide up into the second line center position, it's not something I'm the biggest fan of, ultimately. Pontus Holmberg has been rather vanilla, but I think with Nylander stepping up, the 2 goals that he scored against New Jersey, the goal that he scored against Montreal on Saturday, and the way he played in that game leads me to believe that he may be able to just kind of carry this line. And the other thing is, Bobby McMann has been exceptional over the last little while, and when he returned from injury, he was a guy who kind of really got that third line going when it was him, Robertson, and Domi. I think that him on this line with Holmberg and Nylander could be another guy who is able to push things up and kind of carry the weight of Pontus Holmberg there as a second line center. As long as he is not a how do you say, like maybe a black hole on this second line, as long as he's just serviceable, then I think McMann and Nylander will be able to carry the weight otherwise. Our third line, what we're looking at, Max Domi, Fraser Minten, and Nick Robertson. I wouldn't be surprised if Fraser Minten finds his way to kind of fight into this lineup. Berube liked what he saw out of him in his first stint earlier on. He just kind of tailed off. His play didn't get bad towards the end. It just wasn't as maybe exciting as it was when he first came up, and he wasn't as impactful. He kind of just became another guy. But if he can find a way to be consistent here at the NHL level, he obviously kind of returned to that form back with the Marlies, became a consummate pro, was a guy who was showing up every night, was leading that team. If he can bring that up here to the Maple Leafs and just be a really good, rock-solid centerman, a guy that you can rely on to go out there in minutes, then maybe he finds a way to stay up here and he kind of alters what you're looking for at the deadline. Doesn't make you not want to go out and acquire those guys. Maybe it doesn't make it as like imminent, as like, oh man, we need to go and get this guy. As per Max Domi and Nick Robertson, I want some more out of these guys, especially here tonight against Tampa. This is a team whose third and fourth lines traditionally find ways to score against you and win their matchups. Let's flip that on its head. Let's find a way for this third line to win their matchups against Tampa here tonight. That goes for the fourth line as well, and that we're going to see Steven Lorentz, David Kampf, and Connor Dewar. If those guys can go out there, be physical, spend more time in the offensive zone, win the cycle game. Like, these are all simple, basic things that I kind of throwing out there, but and cliche hockey terms. But if they can do that against Tampa here tonight, you're in a good spot. Those are your forward lines for tonight, and kind of excited to see how Fraser Minton plays in this opportunity he's been given. That is the forwards, though. We will now head on down to the defense. And obviously, with the way things went on Saturday night, we're going to see a little bit of a change. I'm kind of worried about the 5-6 pairing here. But you kind of had your hand forced, I guess, and you're trying to maneuver guys in and out of the lineup and get guys going. And if you don't play that well, then maybe it's your time to sit in the press box. It looks like that's the case here tonight. So looking at the defense, the first pairing is Morgan Rielly and Jake McCabe. Now, part of this obviously is going to be trying to get Morgan Rielly out of this 47-game rut that he's been in. And the other part of it is going to be getting Philippe Myers out off the ice because he did not have a good game on Saturday. I touched on it and made the joke. I was writing an article during that game on Saturday night about Philippe Myers, and then all of a sudden he's getting his teeth kicked in the first period, and I just scrapped the article completely. And now here we are on Monday night, and Philippe Myers is not even in the lineup. So that's your changes there. And it was kind of two guys not meshing on Saturday night particularly, and just not able to kind of find a way to mesh well together and kind of create anything positive in the minutes that they were playing. Morgan Rielly has struggled all season. Philippe Myers finally gets himself on track, but you look over at Morgan Rielly, who's not playing very well, and then Myers is kind of isolated and not having a bad game himself, then it just becomes this mess, like a complete and utter mess amongst those guys there. So Myers out, McCabe goes up. Hopefully he can find a way to stabilize Morgan Rielly tonight. Then you've also got Ekman-Larsson and Tanev. I have complete trust in that line pairing. It's the 5-6 who gives me a little bit pause for concern. Benoit and Timmins go together here tonight. They haven't been good the last few times that they've gone out together. They've lost minutes. They have kind of spent a lot of time in their own zone. They've got panicky. They hadn't really fed well off each other. When one guy dips, the other guy dips. Like, it was a mess in their minutes. This is what I'm concerned about here tonight, especially against Tampa, where you can get taken advantage of with the lower end of their lineup, and that's a concern for me for these 5-6, Benoit and Timmins. So that's what we've got for tonight's lineup against the Tampa Bay Lightning. Obviously, power play looks like it's going to remain the same here. 5-forward unit includes Bobby McMann in that first unit, and McMann has been unbelievable. But with that, let's get to our best bet for tonight, and our best bet is a presentation of Bet365. Open an account Bet365 today and bet on a huge range of markets. Use code NATION, NATION, all caps, code NATION, NATION. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Okay. Our best bet for tonight, we have now won 2 in a row. We've got ourselves back to a point where on the season we are only down 0.93 units. I mean, the swings have been kind of unbelievable. We've pretty much hovered around break even, slightly positive for a while there, and then I think we went on like a 10-game stretch where we lost every bet in a row from game 35 to game 45, and then we finally got it back on track with game 46 and 47, winning Nylander anytime goal, Bobby McMann anytime goal. The anytime goals have kind of been the area that I've been looking to target here, especially with this Leafs power play being an absolute dismay. I want nothing to do with it, nothing to do with them. So we're staying away and finding as spots in anytime goals or some of the shots on goal to be able to give out some best bets in. Tonight, we're going to stick in that same range, and we're going to go back to an anytime goal scorer, but it's going to be a little bit different than the last couple where we've been throwing out Nylander and Matthews and Marner and Tavares in those. We're going to find another guy, yet another top 6 guy here tonight, though, and that is going to be Obviously, as we navigate over to Bet365 and find our way into the player props market, we're going to take a look down. We're going to find a guy currently sitting at plus 300, and that would be Matthew Knies, anytime goal. $50, a half unit on this one will profit us $150. Look, one of the things here going into this, other than just being a little bit of an edge against the market, being best price by far here tonight, one of the things that I kind of look at is how often do we hear as Leafs fans, that's a Leaf killer, that's a Leafs killer. You know, we're playing a couple of them here tonight in Brandon Hagel and Nick Paul. Leafs killers. These guys are guys who always score goals against the Leafs, find ways to score big goals at that. Well, how about we have a guy who's a killer of the other team? And that would be Matthew Knies. He finds ways to get on the scoreboard, whether it's points or goals. It feels like every single time he plays the Lightning, he plays them tough. He always gets fired up for these games, and he goes out there and finds a way to dominate. I'm going to run it back with the Matthew Knies anytime goal here tonight at plus 300. I feel like he's a guy who can be a Tampa killer. So we're going to rely on Matthew Knies. Obviously there with him on that first line too, and Matthews getting going, Marner finding a way to get production here alongside him, and Knies just going to the right areas. You do that against Tampa, I think you get rewarded. So Knies, anytime goal. He's on the power play, he's on the first line, he plays late game minutes. Him to score tonight, half unit, profits us $150. That is all for today's game preview. I appreciate everyone who watched, and if we win this bet here tonight, maybe you could take some of that spare change, that extra money that you've got in your pocket from the winnings, head on over to nationgear.ca, find your way checking out packages to join the boys down in Nashville, March 20th to 23rd. This is not your average trip. This is a nation vacation. We're heading out to Nashville, whether it's a wine tour, live podcast, going to the game, Leafs Preds down there. You'll join myself, Jay Rosehill, Nick Alberga, Carter Hutton, producer Vic. All the boys will be down there for that weekend, taking in Leafs Preds. Plenty of other experiences going on that week as well. If you're looking for flight options, we've got them. Non-flight options, we've got those as well. Just make sure to head on over to nationgear.ca today, and do not, I repeat, do not miss out on this unbelievable experience. Make sure to check that out over at nationgear.ca. I will be back following tonight's game against the Tampa Bay Lightning to react to this one, break everything down, talk about what happened, what didn't happen, what we liked, what we didn't like, maybe take some calls here on the show tonight. But that will all be happening right here on this channel, so make sure to hit that like button, subscribe here to Leafs Nation 401. Thanks everyone for watching. Drop your comments, your predictions down below. Look forward to hearing and seeing all of those. See you guys following tonight's game. Until then, Leafs Nation, and as always, keep believing. For more content just like this, including game previews, post-game live shows, Leafs Morning Take, Monday through Friday with Nick Alberga and Jay Rosehill with special guests, as well as instant reaction videos, make sure to be subscribed here to the Leafs Nation YouTube channel. Turn on notifications so you don't miss anything, and drop a like.